Pisces, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late February 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Pisces collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do you got for us? What do you have for Pisces, gang? In late February. It's Pisces season. Beautiful time of year. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. So let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Pisces in late February. And while we get this first card out, I just want to wish you all a very happy birthday from me to you. Whether it's already happened, whether it's still coming up, I really hope you have a great birthday. All right, cool. This is an apt card, or especially around birthday season. We have the lady, the timekeeper, right? Watching the clock tick. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. And I always say that this card in particular is very simple in its symbolism, but there's so much depth underneath the surface. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the February subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk about it. So we see this lovely lady here. She has her little hood on, a little mysterious, right? She's holding the hourglass. The sand is slipping through the glass, slipping through her fingers. So, of course, we think of the construct of time whenever this shows up. And that's why I said it's kind of apt, because it's like, okay, another year down. Here we go into the next one. Now, this card can mean a lot of different things. Sometimes it could just represent being in a waiting pattern or a holding position. So for some Pisces, maybe there's something you're waiting on. Maybe you're in a hold position where it's like, maybe I'll just wait and see how it goes. It's like one of these type of energies. If that's not you, it could be somebody else. I always say we all experience time in different ways. You know how some days they just fly by, some days they drag on and on and on. Time could be important for whatever situation you're dealing with, whether Spirit's saying, like, hey, Pisces, just let time do what it does. Maybe a certain amount of time needs to elapse. Maybe you feel like you're losing time. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully you don't feel like you're wasting time. That's another thing. But to me, I'm a believer that time is a construct, but we can't help but experience it, right? Like the way we experience reality is linear, so we kind of need it. So time could be important with whatever it is you're dealing with, whether you have plenty or whether you feel like you don't have enough. So we're just going to let her chill out right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for Pisces. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled Shocking Offer Incoming. Now, there was big tower-like energy. There were aces as well. So to me, it felt like offers, opportunities, a lot of new, a lot of fresh energy bubbling up to the surface. So even if that hasn't happened for you yet, it's still energetically in play, at least for a couple weeks, because even the weeks leading up to last week's reading, there's been some good energy moving in. So if you've been going through some difficulties, it's only a matter of time before this tidal wave of energetic goodness hits you. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for Pisces. What do we got? Quick. Okay. Strength. All right. I mean, that's usually pretty good. Usually. Sometimes it could be like resisting something or holding back, but I don't want to say that's the case just yet. But we're going to get that tucked in right there. Let's get a couple more. Strength can be very good. Okay. 8 of Pentacles. Notice we got the double eights. Notice we got the 8 Pentacles, but then even here with the Strength card, notice it has the number 8 right there. So we already have a repeating number starting to show up. All right, 6 of Cups, reminiscing. This would make sense, especially around birthday season. So we got the 6 of Cups there. I do like this card. So there is a soft, tender energy that I'm picking up in the overall so far. Right, and remember, we still have to clarify and do a whole bunch of stuff. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, I like the mixture of elements. Now, you know me, I always like to look at the elements. I feel like it's very important. It shows us different areas of life, how things are moving. And I like when it's split up because if there's too much of one element, it could get a little too heavy or wonky. And we got fire, earth, and water. Specifically, these two elements on the back end work really, really well with Pisces energy. So I'm not too concerned where the elements are involved. When it comes to fire here on the front end, that's the realm of action. So as I always say, whether it's the actions you take, the actions you want to take, the actions you decide not to take. I think of energy levels. I think of vitality, passion, drive, desire, burn. These are all really great things. It's a very healthy, vibrant type of energy. But the downside to fire is its unpredictability. It's very hard to contain, where something's burning so hot you can't handle it, right? Like, so it's something to keep an eye on, especially with the strength card, because sometimes that could try to refrain or restrain something. So we'll need to circle back on that. In the center, we have earth. So feelings of stability, security, routine. Think of money, finance, business, anything earthly. It could be home and family. So we think of all the material aspects of life. And it's usually good and stable and routine, as I already mentioned. But the downside to earth energy is sometimes it doesn't move how we like it to. Sometimes it's a little slow, or it could feel stuck, or is a little clunky, a little dry. Then here on the back end, we have water, Pisces power element. That's your comfort zone, the inner world of emotion and creativity. It could represent people or things or situations that we care a great deal for. It's big for emotional investment. Water is, again, that creativity. So, whether it's creative problem solving or just expressing yourself, any form of art, highly favored here. And as a water sign, this is like peanut butter and jelly with your energy normally. The downside to water is the fact that it could be a little wishy washy, right? It could be a little uh, here and there, back and forth, in and out, right? Water is always moving, it's always ebbing and flowing, so it's hard to nail down. So, we have a nice mixture of stuff. Let's go through and start building it out piece by piece. Position number one, we do have strength. Now, for a small portion of you, this could just be a Leo you're connected to. Maybe you have Leo placements. And I always say strength is good because it's very angelic, it's very spiritual, it's karmic. And we see this lovely lady here wrestling down that lion. She has that big universal infinity symbol above her head. So it does imply some form of spirituality. The thing I always like about this, it speaks to someone's character. Now, strength could represent overcoming issues and problems with love as opposed to brute force. Using a softer hand to take care of issues. So again, it's good. It's more of a tender type of energy, and that's a theme I'm seeing, especially with the Six of Cups on the back end. There's a certain tenderness to the vibe. Um, Again, it could be someone's personality, their characteristics, who they are on the inside. That's a big thing with strength. Sometimes it does show up when there are certain things we are refraining from, or certain things we are resisting, or certain things we're trying to curb. So I'm not sure if any of you are in that headspace right now. Now, the downside to strength is sometimes it's an energy that's prone to say, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to do it, or screw it, I give up. Like, so we're going to look and see. There's another added layer. Sometimes strength can just represent karmic, spiritual energy as well. So we'll see. We'll see what's up with it. Normally, I like it because it has a lot of determination, but it is also prone to say, you know what, this is hard. I don't want to do this. Moving to the middle, we have the Eight of Pentacles. This card does tie heavily into work, business, how we earn those pentacles. For some Pisces, maybe you're just in pentacles mode. Maybe there's certain things that you're working on, or you're keeping yourself very busy, 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 distracted, or someone is when this card shows up. Now, it doesn't only have to deal with work. There's that creative, artisanal type of energy where I'm being creative, just like with the water we saw on the back end. The downside, and remember, this is a card of effort. So when it comes to like personal connections and relationships, and I see the Eight of Pentacles, it's like, I want to give energy to this, I want to work on this, I want to put effort into something. And this is a fantastic card for fixing things, problem solving, smoothing things over. So I do like the energetic potential here. But what's the downside of the Eight of Pentacles? Sometimes it's an energy that can try a little too hard. Sometimes it's an energy that can do a little too much. So when we go from the strength card, which is resisting, and then we have the Eight of Pentacles, there is this like determined push energy, which can be great, but it can also go overboard. So watch out for that. Now, moving to the back end here, we have the Six of Cups. Beautiful. This is a great card for soul ties, soul connections. We see the two children sharing cups with each other. This could sometimes represent people that we have history with. people we've known for a long time, people that it feels like we've known them for a long time. So it's great. It doesn't just have to be romance, it could be friends and family members, stuff like that as well. But the biggest thing I always connect to the Six of Cups is the past, history. Whether you're going to get a blast from the past or it's history repeating, or maybe you're just taking some trips down memory lane, right? I mean, it is birthday season. The downside to this, it can represent dwelling in difficult memories or a separation with somebody that you're really closely tied to. But I want to dive deeper on all of it, Pisces. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on strength. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Pisces, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is strength here? Yeah, and there is this like tenderness I feel in the front. So, I mean, maybe you're a little more sentimental than you usually are at this time. Quick. All right. So we have the Two of Swords in the upright, and I don't dislike it, but there is a lot of questions I'm asking here. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of what ifs. And when I see strength with the Two of Swords, it's either showing me one of two things. For some Pisces, there might be something that's a little more difficult than you thought it would be. So whether it's a process, whether it's a situation, when I see strength with the Two of Swords, it's like, ooh, I wasn't expecting it to be like this. And again, it doesn't have to be like it's a hard thing. There's just something where my expectations don't meet reality. I don't know why that's coming through, so only take it if it hits. So watch out between expectation and reality. There's this kind of thing going on. But then at the same time, I have this thirst. I have this knowledge. I feel like there's certain things I want to know. There's certain things I'm trying to figure out. So just knowing this time you can have an extra thirst for the unknown. So whether that is spirituality, whether it's a situation you're dealing with, when I see the Two of Swords under strength, it's like I have questions. I have situations I'm dealing with, and I will get down to the bottom of it. I will get the answers I'm searching for. So, like, there's searching going on. So, we're going to keep moving. I don't feel like this is the make or break point of the reading, but there is this thirsting for information that I'm picking up. And again, it could be somebody else. Watch out for anyone that pries too much as well. Someone that's like trying to pry into your business. I don't know why that's coming through, but we're going to keep going. So yeah, watch out for any situations that it's like you bit off more than you can chew. If not, there's this like thirst for information, like someone's trying to get information. All right, let's go in on the Eight of Pentacles. We'll see what's up. It's like I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's happening. Okay. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse underneath this Eight of Pentacles. Now, either this is a very oblivious type of energy, or it's someone that's like pretending, like, oh no, I'm over here. I'm just over here doing this, but they're like keeping an eye. There is this surveillance type of energy I'm picking up, and I know there's none of the classic watching cards, but that's how this feels to me. It's like I'm acting like I'm doing this, but in reality, I'm trying to gather information. I'm trying to gather facts. um, it's like I'm pretending I'm doing this, but in reality, it's like a spy. If I'm just going to simplify it and just say it straight out, it's like I'm pretending to keep myself busy, but I'm really doing this. I'm saying this and doing this because I want this information. So watch out for anyone watching. So whether it's someone observing you, trying to get facts out of you, or ask people about you, or maybe you're doing the same. No judgment here if you are. There is like this observation or surveillance that I'm picking up here, especially with the Seven of Swords in reverse. Now, if we were to take this in the classical sense, Seven of Swords in reverse underneath the Eight of Pentacles does kind of line up with somebody just doing their own thing, diligent, every day. So maybe you're keeping yourself in a routine. Nothing wrong with that. But my intuitive sense and my intuition is like screaming about someone trying to pry information or trying to figure things out. And there's a lot of watching happening and observation. So just take that for what it's worth. We're going to keep moving. Maybe there's something Spirit wants you to keep an eye on. That's very possible. But let's go in on the Six of Cups. We'll see what that has. Then we'll do a quick little recap. Like when someone calls or texts you and they start talking to you about one thing, but in reality, they're trying to get information about something different. It's kind of like that. All right, let's go in on Six of Cups. It's getting very specific here, Pisces. So again, only take what hits for you. Thank you. Okay. I mean, I don't dislike it. So we have the King of Wands in the upright underneath the Six of Cups. Um, this is like, hey, Pisces, listen, we're friends. I've known you for so long. It's like one of those. So I wouldn't be surprised if you hear from someone you haven't heard from in a while. That's very possible in this energy, and it makes sense. Birthday season, a lot of times around birthday season, someone will hit you up that you haven't heard from in a while. So like Six of Cups, King of Wands, there's a reminiscing happening here where it's like we're speaking about shared memories. Do you remember when you did this, or do you remember when I did that? There's like a lot of this reminiscing, telling stories type of energy. Now, my only thing is that connected to all this action, like this gathering of information? Or is it something completely different? It very well could be. Now, the King of Wands, this could be a fire sign. So, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Usually, I say kings represent control of their suit. So, if this isn't a specific individual, the King of Wands is like very focused intention. So, when I see it with the Six of Cups and the King of Wands, like to me, it's like we're bringing up the past. We're revisiting this. We're there's something unfinished. That's what I'll tell you. Like this does feel like an unfinished situation or unfinished business on the back end. If not, very minimum, there's some sort of reminiscing going on here. Like, remember when we did this? It's like, remember all the memories we made? So very unique, very specific reading this week, Pisces. Again, only take what hits for you. I don't dislike any of it, but let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. There is a lot of observation and like prying for information, though. But if you kind of look in the box, position number one, we have strength with the Two of Swords, and this is where that thirst for information initially came from. Now, I did say for some of you, watch out for biting off more than you can chew because I feel like there could be something where it's like, oh, I didn't think it would be like this. There's something between expectation and reality that aren't fully aligned, where it's like, oh, it's actually different now that I'm doing this thing. Um, there's the big thirst for information, though, where I have questions, there are things I want to know, and I will figure them out one way or another. Moving to the middle, we have the Eight of Pentacles, Seven of Swords, and Reverse. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Like, it reminds me of a cartoon where, like, someone's pretending to, like, dust the counter and they're really, like, looking through the drawers for information. Um, Now, for some of you, maybe you're just minding your own business, right? Like it could partially be that Eight of Pentacles, Seven of Swords. No, I'm just doing my thing, tunnel vision, minding my own business. But there is this observing and trying to extract information and this watching that's happening. So do with that what you will. On to the back end, we have the Six of Cups with the King of Wands in the upright, reminiscing. So there is either some unfinished business or unfinished situation or reminiscing about the past. So you may hear from someone that you haven't heard from in a while. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. What do we got for Pisces gang and Pisces season? Six of Swords. This seems to be a very common shadow card this week because I was even seeing it in the fire and the air signs. Now, the good thing about the Six of Swords, it's a card of travel, but it is also a card of progression, things getting better. That's the good aspect of it. So if you're doing what you need to do or things are improving, awesome. But the downside of the Six of Swords, it's an energy that can either give up on something or it's an energy of abandonment where it's like, no, I'm going to go over here. It's like one of those where it's kind of avoidant or a runner of some kind. So watch out for any situations involving energy like that because sometimes the Six of Swords, it can be prone to be a little flaky. Okay, no judgment here, but that's just how the energy presents. It's like it's not the most reliable. Okay, but in the good sense, hopefully something's improving for you, right? Hopefully you're moving forward in a positive way. Or maybe you're taking some trips. But we're going to leave it at that, Pisces. That's what I have for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. February subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you could book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com, so we could have a little chat. My February calendar is up, so go check that out. They usually go pretty quick. But for the February subscriber surprise, we're doing a nice different style this month. We're doing a winner's choice. So the winners, which will be three, will have their choice of the Tarot of the Owls, the Gilded Tarot Royale, or a handmade crystal pendant from my shop, mastermetaphysics.com, once again. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards we saw in this week's reading, which one caught your attention the most, whether it really inspired you or hit you right in your feelings. Anyone that stood out to you, and you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.